Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Yarn Everywhere podcast. This is episode number 43. It's been about 2 weeks since I have podcasted, and I cannot wait to show you what I have been working on. I'm going to start with the newest whip first. I just started this last night. I have been wanting to start it forever, and I've just been so tired in the evenings that I knew better than to try to start anything that required a lot of concentration. I got a mess going on here. Hold, please. So I put it off and put it off. I was also waiting on some needles to come in because when this gets big enough, I'm going to switch to these. You're probably like, okay, what are you working on? I am working on a muscle burrow hat for my husband. Here's what I have so far. Isn't that pretty? This is super special because my husband dyed this yarn, and I don't even remember how long ago it was. I think it was fall of 2021, possibly. I kept one of them because I wanted to make him a hat with it. And it just sat in my stash. And then when I found out about this pattern, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's it. That's the one I'm going to make for him. So super special. It's yarn that he dyed, and it's his camo yarn. And it was super cute. I think there were 3 or 4 in the dye pan when he dyed these, and we dyed this yarn live on my Facebook page. So everybody that was watching was like, oh, I want this yarn. I want this yarn. And so a few of my yarn club members snagged up some of this from my yarn shop, but I did keep one for my husband. And he was so excited that he was like signing the yarn wrap labels. It was like his little autograph. It was the cutest thing ever. So he had a really good time. And I'm just really excited to be starting him a hat. And I'm really shocked at how easy this hat is. I was super intimidated by it because to start out, I had no idea how to start the hat. And then there is the make one right and make one left, which totally confused me. And I was making it a lot harder in my brain than I needed to. So I just want to encourage you, if you've been looking at this pattern and you have been wanting to start it, it's a lot easier than it looks. It seems super intimidating at first, but once you get past those first couple of rounds, you're good. I just started this last night. And once you get past those first rounds, it's pretty repetitive. So hopefully I will be even further along. It'll actually start kind of looking like a hat on the next podcast. All right, I'm going to show you the project that I kind of have in timeout right now. And it's totally me. I completely frogged this because I got myself confused. I know better than to knit when I'm tired, and I did not listen to myself. So I just picked this up and started working, and I wasn't really paying attention. And I don't know. I just had a mess on my hands. This is the linen stitch, and you work 2 rows of a knit stitch, and then you're slipping a stitch, but you're moving the yarn. So like if you're knitting, if you're on the knit row, you're going to knit a stitch, and then you're going to move the yarn forward like you're going to purl, and you're going to slip that way. And so it's a lot of back and forth and back and forth. But once you find your rhythm, it's super easy. Then you switch colors and you do the opposite. You do a purl row, 2 rows of purling, and then you slip a stitch, but you switch the yarn to the back and you slip a stitch that way. I have picked this up a couple of times, and I was thinking I was like on a knit row and I was actually purling, and then I don't even know. I honestly don't know what I did, but I got super confused and I tried frogging it, and then I just didn't know where to pick up stitches. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start over. And then the other day I was being cute and doing a little video. I think I did the same thing. But I don't care. I'm going with it. So you can see here. Okay, so here's where I did it correctly. And then here's where the hot mess starts. But I don't care. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going with it. I'm not frogging this again, I hope. So this is the Worth wrap by Expression Fiber Arts. And oh my gosh, I just love the fabric that it makes. And look how it is like, look how the colors are working up. It is so pretty. And I'm really sad because I know I was past like 8 inches. Because you work these 2 colors until you get to 12.5 inches and then you switch colors. So let me show you. I am using Sugar Rush. This such a pretty color. And Perfectly Pink. Look at these 2 together. Then I will be switching to this color. Let me see. This color. I don't know if it's going to show. Then I'll be switching to this color, and it is not wanting to show in this light at all. Maybe now. So it's just like a pale white, almost pink with, it's got pink and purple speckles on it. Let me see if it, nope, it's just not. Let's see. There we go. It is so pretty. And so I believe it's going to go to this color and this color. I need to look at the pattern again. But basically, after 12.5 inches, you're going to add another color and drop a color. And then I'm going to be going to this color. And I believe it's going to be this color and this color. And I love this because there's just a tad bit of this color in here. And so I think it's really just going to make that stand out and pop. And then I have this color. So these are the 5 colors that I'm going to be doing. I don't think I can hold these up. So the 2 that I started with, and then I'll be adding in these 3. I really think it's going to be gorgeous. And I just need to like slow down and enjoy the process instead of trying to like rush through it. And so I can see how pretty it's going to be. So that's my goal with this one is just, this is just going to be my, I know it's going to take me forever, but I'm going to enjoy the process and hopefully not make any more mistakes. So I'm going to show you this one more time. I just love the fabric. I love the way it looks. And I really feel like it's reversible too, because I think the back side of it's really pretty too. So this is the Worth wrap by Expression Fiber Arts. And I'm using DK weight. She says in the pattern that you really can just use any weight, but I had a couple of DK weight that I've been wanting to use. So that's why I went with DK weight. So this is the first time in a long time that I actually do not have a crochet whip. Here's my story. I have been needing projects that are quick and simple. So I've been crocheting in the evenings, but they're these quick and simple projects. So I finish them. So that's why I don't have a current crochet whip. And also, I haven't cast on these socks yet. So we're just going to throw this back in here. That's a whip I need to start is cast on the second sock to that Avocardio colorway. Also so close to finishing these socks, and I just haven't taken time to knit socks. And I miss it. And I think part of the reason why I haven't been knitting socks is because I know once I start knitting socks, that's all I'm going to want to do and have some other projects that I want to work on. But I need to just start taking these with me when I go somewhere so they can be like my in the car project. But I really don't go anywhere, so it's not going to help a lot. But I do need to just sit down maybe this weekend and just take some time to do some sock knitting because I really do enjoy it and I miss it. So that was my Yarnicorn sock. Look, I'm just like, I'm all over the place. I'm already thinking 10 steps ahead. So this is the sock that I'm finishing. And I'm so close to being done. Okay, that is all that I'm working on right now. And let me dive in and show you what I have finished. I should have looked at the previous podcast to see what all I finished then. But I want to say I wasn't finished with this last podcast. But you know what? If I was, you just get to see it again. So this is my juniper cowl that I finished with scrap yarn. I am obsessed with this pattern. Like I I could seriously just keep making these over and over again. And I love wearing them. I've worn this several times now. It's so comfortable and cozy, and it's just like the perfect accessory to throw on over like a light sweatshirt or even like a long sleeve shirt. Just, I love it. And I really want to make another one. I'm thinking about making one with some DK weight yarn. I have some tweed yarn in my scrap basket, and I think it would be really gorgeous with some tweed. So I loved that so much. When I finished it, I started another one, and I have finished that. And I have already gifted this one. I finished it, and as soon as I finished it, I weaved in the ends. I know you probably don't believe me, but I did. Like, finished it, weaved in the ends, it was done. And oh my goodness, is this not gorgeous? I love how it pooled right here in the middle there, and it gave like a chevron look. It's so pretty. So I used 2 of my colorways from the 2022 advent calendars. And I dyed these 2 colorways. I knew I was gonna love them, so I threw 2, full hanks of sock weight yarn in the dye pan, and I'm so glad that I did because I couldn't wait to make a project with it, and then I discovered this cowl, and I think it come out really, really pretty. And I gifted this to my sweet mother-in-law, and she was so excited. She actually wore it to church on Sunday. I went ahead and took it to her when I finished it because she wasn't feeling very good, and I wanted to cheer her up. And also, I loved this so much that I'm like, if I don't gift this to her, I'm gonna end up keeping it for me. And when I started it, I knew I wanted to give it to her. And then I did the border at the top and at the bottom in like a pale gray. And I think it just really tied it all together nicely. So the other day I was talking to her and I was like, I have a favor to ask you. I was like, can I borrow your cowl back? Because I didn't think about my podcast whenever I gave it to you. And she's like, sure. She's so sweet. So she let me borrow it back. And so now I need to take it back to her so I don't accidentally keep it. So these are my 2 juniper cowls that I'm just absolutely obsessed with. And I'm not going to lie, I really want to start another one, but I had some other projects that I want to work on. And if I start another one, that's all I'm going to do is sit and crochet these until I finish them. So I'm waiting and just kind of planning and just kind of seeing if I want to do DK weight or if I want to do another fingering weight. I think a DK weight would be wonderful because it's going to be a little bit warmer. And I think you could honestly do it in worsted weight too, especially like if you live somewhere where it's really cold, a worsted weight is going to be really, really warm. I would just adjust how many you start out with your starting chain. And then just kind of measure it around your neck where you want it to lay, and then follow the pattern from there. So I really think this pattern is super easy to adjust for any yarn weight that you want. Also on mine, I did the bottom border, but I didn't do the top border. And I think it's pretty even without the top border, but I wasn't sure what color I wanted. So I've got hair in it because I've been wearing it. I actually think I may use that pale gray. I think that would be really pretty. So we'll see. But I was like, you know what? I'm not in a hurry. I can go back and add that border later, or I can just leave it as it is. So let me show you. I have already started a scrap basket for another juniper cowl. Some of it is left over from the first one that I made. Let's see. I have like that really pale gray that I use as a border. I have some of that. This is called Reminiscent. I have some Reminiscent left from the second one. I have just a teeny tiny bit left of the cascading color from this one. So this was made with cascading color and Reminiscent. Then I have some dark gray. I have my Japanese cherry blossom. What else do I have in here? Ooh, I still have some birthday party and hummingbird hues. So I still have some in here to make another one. I'm just going to keep adding to it because I may use that. I may use these for something else, but I immediately thought juniper cowl. Y'all will have to excuse me. I have some kind of allergy thing going on. I think it's the weather because we have had like 30-degree weather, and then it'll get up to like the 40s or 50s during the day and then drop back down to like 30 degrees. And then the last couple of days, it's been in the 60s. I think it was almost 70 today. And then the weather is going to change again, and it's supposed to get down to, I think, 32 degrees tonight, and then the high tomorrow is like 40. So my sinuses are just like, I don't know what's going on. So I have a cup of hot tea here. My sister-in-law sent me a goodie box from Arizona, and they have a Trader Joe's out there, which has all kinds of really neat stuff. So she sent me a box of tea from there, and I absolutely love it. I'm like down to my last 2 tea bags, and I'm really, really sad. It's so good. It's really funny because it has kind of a funny smell to it. And my husband the other night was like, what is that smell? And I was just over there trying not to giggle. And finally he realized, he's like, that you're drinking that? I was like, it's good. Okay. I think I got all of that under control now. Another finished item is the Avocardio sock that I was talking about earlier. I finished that. I really didn't have much left. I think actually I put a progress marker. This is where I was at the last time I talked about it on the podcast. And so I really didn't have much to do. And so I finished that up. And look, the ends. But I had good intentions. I was going to weave the ends in. So I feel like this is progress. Like the needle's on there. I just got distracted. So I'm sure I'll weave these ends in. I actually found the birthday party socks that I knit. I don't even know. It's been forever. It was the first pair of socks that I knit with sock weight yarn. I found them in my crochet cart the other day. And I noticed the ends were not weaved in. I'm like, I've got like 2 or 3 pairs of socks that all I need to do is weave the ends in, and then I can wear them. I'm working on it. We need like a support group for people who have an aversion to weaving in ends. Maybe I should start one. All right. What else do we have here? I've been making a ton of these sunshine coffee. I want to say iced because I usually make the sunshine iced coffee cozies. These are just the original sunshine coffee cozies that go on a hot cup of coffee. We recently got a local coffee shop to our town, and let me tell you, I am so excited. So I've made a ton of these. And my local yarnie friend and I met up like the day that it opened to get coffee and sit and knit and crochet in there. It was the best day. So of course I had to make a new one for me in the blushy pinks that I'm obsessed with right now. Finished this one the other night when my brain was too tired to make any kind of complicated projects. So I just whipped up another one of these, but I haven't added a tag to it yet. And then I made one in this pretty blue. I love this tag, Coffee and My Dog. It's so perfect. And then this one is Coffee, Teach, Repeat. I think it's so cute. And this is a free crochet pattern on my blog. I will post a link below for that. And I also did a video tutorial for this the other day. So I'm going to get that edited and added to my YouTube channel as well. I think on the last podcast, I told you about some simple cotton dishcloths that I was working on. I finished all 10 of those, but I forgot to take a picture. And I was going to make another one to show you on the podcast, but I got distracted by other things. So I made 10 of those, and then the tea shop got in touch with me, and they told me they were completely out of the sunshine iced tea cozies. So I whipped up 10 of those and dropped those off at the tea shop on Monday. So I don't have those to show you, but I did want to just tell you that I made them. Oh, I did take a picture of my Stack O. I was calling it my Stack O Sunshine Cozies. So I will post a picture here for you to see those because I used some colors that I haven't used before for them. I've been hoarding my I love this cotton yarn, and I'm like, before I can buy any more, I need to work through this. This right here is a cubby of it, and then here's a cubby, and there's more behind there. So I'm just going through some of the colors that I've been hoarding, and I'm just making cozies with them. And I think it's just a good way to pass through my stash of them, and then I'll have an excuse to buy more. So that's kind of my plan there. You watched the last podcast. I went through a couple of bins that have been in my yarn room for probably a year. It was just a hot mess. And I wanted to start out the year with at least getting those 2 bins done. So that way I wouldn't add to them and make a bigger mess. So I went through and picked things that I wanted to finish or I wanted to frog and things like that. And there were a ton of finished projects that just needed the ends weaved in. So I thought it would be cool to follow up with that and do an ends check. So this is the ends check section of the podcast. I did go ahead and weave the ends in on these Sassy Fingerless gloves. So they're done now and they are so pretty. This was my Mermaid Vibes colorway, and it's one of my favorite. So I'm tickled to have these done. Now I just need to get some good photos of them, and then I can like update the pattern with some pictures. One of the other ones was this Brinley twisted ear warmer, and all it needed was the ends weaved in. So I weaved in the ends. Like, look, seriously, I didn't tuck them. No tricks here. They really have been weaved in. So I'm tickled to have those done. I do have a few new items that I got in and I want to share with you. So I ordered some of my favorite things from Twice Sheared Sheep. They have some of the best notions that save my brain. One of the things that I absolutely love is the row counters that they have. And I have some long ones, but I wanted some short ones. Let's see. This one's really cute. It has a little yarn ball charm on the end. I really like these for especially repeat row patterns. Oh, now I got the hiccups. Because as you switch rows, crocheting, you can just use a stitch marker and change the row as you begin the next row. Or you can even have it on your crochet hook, and then when you switch to the next row, just switch the number out. I do feel like it's a lot easier when you're knitting because it's just seamless. Like you just slip the marker. So I haven't quite gotten graceful with these with crocheting, but what I usually do is I'll just use the stitch marker part of it and then just mark the beginning of the row. And then when I get to the next row, I'll just move it up. And it really does help because then I don't have to be like, oh, what row was I on? If you haven't tried these, I highly recommend them, especially for knitting. They're super user-friendly for knitting. I also got some of these tip ties. What I'm using these for is to prevent my work from slipping off the end of my needles in my project bag, like this. I usually use like needle stoppers, but they keep falling off and then I can't find one of them. So my needle stoppers never match because I'm always losing one of them. So when I saw these, I'm like, I'm going to give these a try. And let me tell you, they're easy to put on and you just kind of have to twist to pop it off. But I feel like it's way more secure and they're not going to just pop off in my bag. So I just started using these and I love them already. I already have a few of these. They're the increase and decrease stitch markers. These are the really pretty little butterflies. And then I have a cat one. It's a cat paw. And there's a little cat on this one. It's so cute. I absolutely love these, especially when I'm knitting socks, because when you get to the part where you knit a round and then the next round is a decrease round, I would always get confused. So I love these because as you start the round, you can just slip the marker to if you're on a knit round or a decrease round, and it just saves my brain. So I absolutely love these, and I wanted more because y'all know I have more than one sock whip at a time. And now that I started this hat, it has really come in handy for that too. I also got one of these Notion tins. I don't have anything in it yet. I tried to keep all of this together so I wouldn't have it scattered everywhere and I could share it with you. I already have another one of these, and if I could, I would have one of these in every single one of my project bags for stitch markers, scissors, just all those little things that when you go somewhere and you're used to having like beside your chair that you don't have. I love these tins for that reason, and they don't slide open until you push them open. So you don't have to worry about like your stuff falling out in your project bag. So I got another one of these because cats, super cute. My other little goodie that I got in, I'm really excited about because all these all over Instagram with other like knitters and crocheters getting them. And one of my friends hit up the Black Friday sale that they had. And so she bought one, and I think the other one was like half off or something. And so I ended up getting the other one from her. It's one of those Lumos lights. I love this thing. So it fits around your neck, and look, it's really comfortable. Like, it's lightweight. It doesn't feel weird. I don't know how to explain it. And then you can move these little boogers, these little lights all around. You can have them together, crisscross, and you can flip it like that. I mean, it's so handy, and you don't even really notice that it's there. You can turn these lights on, and they have 3 different settings. You can also, like, have one on one setting, one on another setting. So anyways, I love these because my husband doesn't really like lights on when he's watching TV because of the glare. I totally get that. So I have an OT light that sits right next to my chair, and it's bright. Let me tell you, if you have an OT light, you know they take their light serious. It is so bright. And so I have it like just hanging over my head. And sometimes it's just too much light. Like, I just want something, especially like the closer it gets to bedtime, I want like a soft light. Oh, this is perfect because it's just enough light to see your work, but it's not overpowering and it's not going to bother anybody. If you've been on the fence about getting one of these, it is so worth it. It stays where you put it. That's what I like about it. It's not going to move all around. I love being able to adjust the light, and plus it's comfortable. So, highly recommend this, and it's called Lumos and Lumos. And this isn't a sponsored ad or anything. It's just me sharing with you a product that I absolutely love, and like, I'm not getting paid for that or anything. So I just wanted to throw that out there because sometimes companies will send somebody a product so they can review it, and that was not the case with this. I just wanted to tell you that. If I ever do review a product, I'll let you know that, it was paid, or that I have like an affiliate link or something like that. I just want to be open and honest about that. So I just feel like I needed to tell you that. So no sponsorship, nothing, just letting you know my opinion. And I think they're really cool. I want to say they're kind of pricey. So this could be a really good, like, hey, I want this for my birthday, or I want this for Christmas or something like that. So that just a gift idea. Okay, moving on. I'm still working on going through my yarn room and just kind of decluttering, cleaning things up when I have time. I think it was last weekend. It was sometime last week. I come in here to get a hank of yarn for something, and I decided that I was going to destash some yarn. So I got rid of, like, I want to say 3 big bags of yarn. I feel so much better having just the shelf space. It was box store yarn that I literally have had probably 3 years or longer. And I know I haven't touched in at least a year, if not 2 years. So I didn't feel bad parting with it. There's a local lady that I know that crochets, and then she knows people that crochet or that use yarn. And so she was going to go through it and pick out what she wanted, and then she was going to pass it on. And they also make a lot of stuff for charity. So it just felt really good to know that it was going to a good home and for a good cause. And then I have another bag of yarn that I'm going to take to a lady at my church that crochets and makes stuff. So I feel better just knowing that I'm giving it to somebody and it's going to get used. It made destashing a little bit easier because it's yarn. Even if it's box store yarn, it's still yarn, and it can be really hard to part with. While I was destashing, I found this jar of scrap yarn, and who knows what else is in here. And I think I even mentioned last podcast that we might go through this. So I thought it'd be fun to go through this and see what's in here. So I know that this is some scrap yarn, and it's DK weight. I made a sassy twisted ear warmer with this, and I still have a good bit left, and it's such a pretty neutral color. I have to be in the mood for neutrals, but I really did like this. So I'm not sure. I need to weigh it. I bet I could make some socks with that. Okay, I have some scrappy squares in here. So each month in my yarn club, we do a stash bustin' scrappy square. It's really fun. And so this is one of those squares that I use some scrap yarn with. and I haven't weaved in the ends. So I feel like we're going to find a lot of these in here. Here's another one. This is the double V-stitch scrappy square. Oh, and some, I want to make sure I'm on the right side here. Granny squares. Isn't that color so pretty? Another scrappy square. This is some of my like all-time favorite yarn right here, that colorway. Ooh, another granny square. Okay, so normally with granny squares, I weave in as I go. Like as soon as I finish one section, I weave in and then I'll start the next one. I'm shocked. I really am. I know you're probably not, but I'm shocked that I didn't finish that. I guess I was rebelling. It's like I did it 1, 2, 3. I did it 3 times, and the 4th time it was a nope for me that day, I guess. What else do we have here? Ooh, another. This is the berry stitch, and this is my Mood Swings colorway. Another favorite colorway of mine. I love the texture on both sides. And just need the ends weaved in. No idea which one this was. So there is a ton of squares in here. Ooh, I love that one. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, that one's pretty too. I need to get one of those square blocking things. That's like the little wooden thing with the pegs and you can just stack your squares on there. I need to get one of those. Ooh, that's really pretty too. So, ton of squares. Ooh. I think I'm almost to the bottom of the squares. See, y'all notice a trend here. These granny squares, most of them, I've weaved in the ends. There was so far just one granny square that I didn't weave the ends in on. Here's another one. I'm so proud. Like, I deserve chocolate right now. I'm really proud of myself. Ooh, this one's really pretty. So as you can tell, I went on a granny square kick. Okay. Ooh, this is pretty. I knit socks with this. So I know this is DK weight. Oh, I'm just hoarding this yarn. I love this one. What did I name this one? I can't remember. It was like date night or something like that. I don't know. 80s chick. 80s chick. Elsie in my yarn club just made a beanie. I'm pretty sure it was a beanie. Yes, final answer. Just made a beanie with this. And I need to ask her if I can share a picture. If she lets me, I will post a picture here and show you. It is gorgeous. And I need to dye some more of that yarn. So I know this is worsted weight. I need to separate it. Oh, here's some jewels. So this looks like it's really just scrap yarn. Oh, this is my 90s tie-dye. And this is left over from my Verna cowl that I made when Danielle out of Naughty Habit Designs did a crochet along. And I really need to recake that. There's a good bit of this left, and I think it's probably enough for like an ear warmer. So I need to organize that and get that pretty again and make something. And then here's some mood swings I've been hoarding forever. I really need to organize these and weigh them and see what I can make with them. And then here's just like a tonal color. Look, even the smallest scrap I am keeping. So with my hand-dyed yarn, if it's about this long or maybe even a little shorter, I have a little ball of yarn next to my recliner that I just tie them. I just tie it in a knot to the last one, and I'm just creating this big ball of yarn. And I think I'm going to make granny squares with it. Not sure yet. Look how cute this is. Just a little smidge. Oh, I guess it's related to this one. And then here is just a little bit of, I'm pretty sure this is DK weight yarn. So that's it. That's the jar. A lot of just scraps and squares. So I'm going to put my DK weight back in here. This is my crate for a lot of my worsted weight scraps. I have a problem. I have an addiction to scrap yarn. I just spotted one of my hooks I was looking for. I guess I just have that in there for, it made sense to me at the time. You know what? I'm actually going to put these in here too because I had a ton more of these and I lost them. I don't know where they're at. So I'm going to put those in the jar and keep those organized. That felt good to get that done and figure out what all was in that jar. So now I'm going to just tell you what is going on over here. And I'm just about to finish up dyeing all of January's Yarn Club, and I'm in love with these colorways. So far, there are 3 colorways, and I'm probably just going to stick with 3. That seems to be my number. Theme is love language. So I've been dyeing yarn based on like what colors are like some of my favorite like color combinations that just speak right to my heart. I think this is going to be a fun month, and I'm not going to say anymore because I will end up spoiling some of the surprises. So once I get done with the yarn club, I am going to start dyeing some yarn for some sassy wrap kits. And then I also have some Valentine colorways that I need to go ahead and start dyeing because I want to do some like Valentine sock sets and something fun for Valentine's because I have a lot of ideas. Hopefully by the next podcast next week, I will be able to show y'all some colors. We shall see. We're just going to see how the rest of this week goes. And this weekend, I am having some trouble with my back. And I think it's just my body's just trying to get back used to working again. So this morning I was kind of laying on a heating pad because I'm having like really bad tension in my shoulders and my upper back, and it was spasming. So I sat on a heating pad for a while, and I've kind of been doing that off and on throughout the day. It's just going to take me a few more dye days and hopefully a few more weeks before I'm back to my full strength. We shall see. I think my brain thinks that I'm still in my 20s, and my body's like, no, girl, no, you're not. You're not anywhere close to your 20s. In fact, you're giving 40 a big old hug. So it's really hard to tell my brain to slow down sometimes, but my body's like, yeah, slow down. And I've done really good. Like my dye days I would dye 10 pans of yarn at a time, and I started out with 6. And now I've built back up to 7. I'm just going to kind of stay there for a little while before I try to work my way back up to 10. I just need to have patience. I am my biggest work in progress. Can I get an amen? Let me know in the comments what your favorite scrap projects are. I have so much scrap yarn. I mainly have a lot of worsted weight, and I think I want to start some kind of big project. Instead of doing granny squares, I feel like I want to start like maybe a granny stripe blanket or something like that. I need to check the pattern because I think that's fingering weight, but it might be adjustable for worsted weight too. But I'm worried that that blanket would be super heavy with worsted weight. So I'm not sure. So give me all of your ideas, your favorite go-to scrappy projects for worsted weight yarn, because I want to get all of that organized and start a big project that it's something that I can just work on. And it may take me years or not. Something that I can just work on when my brain's tired and I can just pick it up and not have to try to keep up with a ton of squares that I may or may not sew together later on to make a blanket. Do think I'm still going to stick with the granny squares and things like that and make a project eventually, but I would like to start working through this stash pretty quickly, and I don't think granny squares is the answer. So let me know. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you did, I would love it if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will also post a link below to the previous Yarn Everywhere podcast episodes if you want to watch those. And until next time, happy yarning. Bye for now.